Today I'm going to talk about and explain to you the 5 most important fundamentals to learn improvisation. So, if you apply these 5 fundamentals, you'll become an improvisation star. I think the 5th one is the most important, but the other 4 are also very important. I've made a video about the 5th one before. And the way I came across these, I've been studying this since I was 16. I went to a summer jazz workshop at Eastman School of Music. Went to summer band camp. And was one time at band camp, my very famous teachers of Ray Ricker, Bill Dobbins, and Jeff Holmes stressed these points and gave us these 5 fundamentals. So, what I suggest is either if you're old school, get a piece of paper and pen and write it down, take notes, or just like and save this video to study at later times because it is very involved. So, now I'm going to get right to it. In the background, you hear a master improv. What am I saying? Behind me, you hear some music playing. If you can guess who it is or read that, I think it's up there. Please mention if you like it or not. So, number 1, very important thing they call quick and spontaneous insight. What that means is when you're improvising, in other words, just do it, improvise. The only way to learn is to do it. When you're improvising, you need to self-evaluate your improvisations. You need to ask yourself these questions. Am I playing the correct chord changes? Am I always playing the same cliche and licks in every solo? Are my solos boring? Do they ramble on and on and on? Do they have no melodic ideas? Do you express your feelings and personalities, your emotions? And do they show your skill level on your instrument? So, that's number 1. Number 2, intellect. That's the power of knowing as opposed to just feeling it, just doing it, knowing. And this is one thing you control completely. You have to know your instrument and general knowledge of all music. This will improve your musical security to know your instrument, your intellect. Number 3, your theoretical knowledge. In other words, music theory. Now, there's maybe thousands of videos on YouTube about music theory, many courses, so I'm not going to go into that. But you must be able to analyze chord changes. You have to know what notes they use. You have to know the function of the chord progression, the scales that can be used and recognize them by sight and by ear, and what other chord substitutions can be used or what might be used. If you're one player listening to the piano player and hearing him play a different chord progression than what's there, they're substituting and to follow. That's theoretical knowledge. Number 4, wow, we're up to 4 already. Understanding improvisational styles. What you hear in the background is Frank Rossellino, a style. A trombone player has a very, very distinctive style. You must also know the style period is coming. This is obviously bebop, swing, all the things you are. Such different styles like bebop, swing, rock, Latin, funk, fusion, whatever. There's many, many, many different styles. You have to recognize, you have to know these styles. So when you're playing a solo, you're in that style or playing with a group. You have to be able to analyze the characteristics of the, for example, Frank Rossellino style. Analyze that. Say, one way to do that is by transcribing or playing along with them. So you understand their style, and not just one musician style, many. And then you will eventually develop your own recognizable style. That's very important for you to have your own recognizable style, not just sound like somebody else or just meander through improvisations that really don't sound like anything. Now, before I get to the fifth one, I've talked about this, and this is one of the most important things. You have to develop your ear training. And watch my other video for this. I talk more about this, but there's many ear training courses out there. The main thing is to sing everything. Sing everything. Everything you play, sing it. You have to have that ear to horn. In other words, you hear your lick. Da-ba-da-da-ba-da-da. Sing it, then play it. I just imitated, heard a lick Frank Rossellino was playing. You need to recognize by ear also chord changes. 2-5-1s. If you're studying the standard jazz substitutions for one cadence 1-4-5, it's 2-5-1. It's used repeatedly in standards and musicians. One way I learned that is through Jamie Abersol, the 2-5 progression CD album. I would shut the book, put on random 2-5 progressions. It was a track, random 2-5, a couple of different ones. And then I'd try and follow by ear the chord tones, the bass notes, first thing. And then scales, and then I'd play licks, repeat one lick, and then we'll go to a different licks over the 2-5s, so I could always hear a 2-5. It's fundamental. You have to be able to hear 2-5-1 progressions. You have to, if you're studying jazz. Of course, they're used in classical music also. It's not but that's beside the point. So, you have to recognize the song. You have to recognize the chord progression. Now, you hear in the background that song, and then if you looked at my thumbnail, you see this video. So if you recognize the song, please leave a comment and say, I know what that song that is, and then practice it, because the only way to learn to improvise is to just do it. Okay? You have to do it. Whether you're classical, whether you're playing concerto and there's an improvised cadenza at the end, you have to do it. So just do it. Get to the practice room. Put on YouTube. You've got so many opportunities to hear. If you like Frank Rossellino, put Frank Rossellino and a place. Whatever. You put jazz. If you're trombone, put jazz trombone. And YouTube will spit out jazz trombone players. Also, whatever, jazz saxophone, jazz trumpet, jazz whatever, jazz piano, jazz. There's so much today. Well, I didn't have when I was a kid. I had to go out and buy albums and listen to them. You don't have to do that. YouTube, get to it, get to work, listen to these 5, study these 5 fundamentals, and you will become a great improviser. Thank you.